You're 9 years old, standing in the hallway outside your mother's bedroom. The door is closed. You can hear her crying, or maybe sleeping, you're not sure anymore. Your little brother is in the kitchen, waiting. The light under the door is yellow and thin. You make the choice without words. You go to the kitchen. You open the fridge. You find something that looks like dinner. This is the moment you learn that love is responsibility. That being good means being useful. That your feelings can wait, because someone else's always matter more. You didn't call it parentification. You called it Tuesday. And somewhere in your small body, a door closed too. There's a name for what happened to you. Psychologists call it parentification. When a child becomes the emotional or practical caretaker of a parent, sibling, or household. When you absorb what the adults around you cannot hold. When you grow up before your nervous system is ready. Not because you were strong, because you were smart enough to know, someone has to hold this together. It wasn't weakness, it was intelligence shaped by survival. You became fluent in reading the room before you could read chapter books. You learned to soothe, manage, predict, and disappear your own needs so seamlessly that no one, including you, noticed you were gone. This wasn't a choice. It was an adaptation, and it worked, until it didn't. You learned early that love was conditional on your usefulness. Maybe your parent was depressed or overwhelmed or absent in ways that didn't fit the word neglect. Maybe they were surviving their own unhealed wounds. Maybe they loved you and still couldn't see you. Or maybe you were the eldest daughter. The one who translated, mediated, remembered, reminded. The culture told you this was your role. The family told you this was love. And you believed it because children believe the world they're given is the only world there is. You learned that your emotions were an inconvenience, that being easy was safer than being seen, that anger was dangerous, sadness was selfish, and need was a burden no one wanted to carry. So you stopped asking, you stopped crying where anyone could hear. You became the steady one, the reliable one, the one who made it easier for everyone else to breathe. And you learned to hold your breath. Here's what happens in a nervous system that grows up this way. Your amygdala, your brain's smoke detector, stays on high alert. It scans for danger before you even enter a room. Your body learns to live in a state of readiness. Muscles tight, breath shallow, heart rate just a little too fast. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the part that pauses, reflects, chooses, gets overridden. You don't deliberate, you react, you anticipate, you smooth over the tension before anyone notices it was there. This isn't anxiety, it's hypervigilance. And your body can't tell the difference between a raised voice and a threat, between disappointing someone and losing safety. You learn to mistake your fear response for intuition. You think, I just know when something's wrong. And you do, but not because you're psychic. Because your system is wired to never be caught off guard again. You might apologize when someone bumps into you. You might feel responsible for other people's moods, walking into a room and immediately calculating who needs what, who's tense, who needs soothing before they even realize they're upset. You might say yes when your body is screaming no, and then feel resentful later, ashamed that you're resentful at all. You might perform calm like a second language. Smooth, steady, unshakable. And inside, you're collapsing. You might feel guilt every time you set a boundary, as if protecting yourself is the same as hurting someone else. You might equate your worth with your productivity. Rest feels like failure. Stillness feels like selfishness. A Saturday with no plans feels like proof you're wasting your life. You might choose people who are emotionally unavailable, because chaos feels like home, and peace feels like waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might check your phone obsessively after sending a vulnerable text, heart racing, convinced you said too much, revealed too much, asked for too much. You might replay conversations for hours afterward, cataloging every moment you might have disappointed someone, missed a cue, failed to be enough. You might overfunction in your relationships, carrying the emotional labor, initiating the hard conversations, remembering the birthdays and anniversaries and small preferences, and then feel invisible when no one notices. You might downplay your own accomplishments the moment someone praises you. Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. You might find yourself dating your phone screen at 2 a.m., solving problems that aren't yours, offering advice no one asked for, because being needed feels safer than being wanted. You might avoid asking for help, even when you're drowning, because the thought of inconveniencing someone makes your chest tighten. You might say, "I'm fine," so reflexively that you don't even realize you're lying, not to them, but to yourself. You might feel more comfortable giving than receiving. A compliment lands like an accusation. A gift feels like a debt. You might mistake anxiety for intuition, believing that if you feel afraid, something must be wrong. If your stomach knots when he doesn't text back, it must mean he's pulling away. If you feel uneasy, it must mean danger. You might struggle to enjoy good moments because you're already bracing for when they end. You might feel lonely in rooms full of people because you're performing connection instead of feeling it. Laughing on cue, nodding at the right moments. And no one knows you left the room 10 minutes ago. You might not remember the last time someone asked, "What do you need?" and meant it. You might struggle to name what you want because you were never asked. The cost of this is not dramatic. It's quiet. You live as usefulness instead of personhood. You become a role, not a self. You're loved, but not known. You belong, but not as you are. And the loneliest part? You do it so well that no one sees you struggling. They see someone competent, capable, together. They don't see the girl standing outside the door, waiting to be told it's safe to come in. Here's the reframe. What saved you then constrains you now. The vigilance that kept you safe as a child is stealing your peace as an adult. The calm you performed is now a cage. The responsibility you carried was never yours to hold. You're not broken, you adapted. And the fact that you're reading this now means part of you is ready to stop adapting and start living. Healing doesn't look like fixing. It looks like witnessing. 1. Witnessing, fixing. Stop trying to logic your way out of how you feel. Stop minimizing with phrases like "it wasn't that bad" or "other people had it worse." Your nervous system doesn't care about comparisons. It only knows what it survived. Start here. What I experienced was real, and it shaped me. That's not self-pity. That's self-respect. 2. Body first. You can't think your way into safety. You have to feel it. Start with 30 to 90 seconds. Orienting. Look around the room. Name 5 things you can see. Let your gaze soften. This signals to your brain, "I'm here. I'm not in danger." Long exhale. Breathe in for 4, out for 6. Longer exhales calm your vagus nerve, the pathway between your body and your sense of safety. Hand over heart. Place your palm flat against your chest. Feel the warmth. This is self-soothing, and it works. Feet to floor press. Press your feet firmly into the ground. Feel the contact. This is called grounding because it literally reminds your body it's supported. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 senses. 5 things you see, 4 you hear, 3 you touch, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. This pulls you out of rumination and into the present. Butterfly hug. Cross your arms over your chest, hands resting on opposite shoulders. Gently tap, alternating left and right. This bilateral stimulation helps regulate your nervous system when you're overwhelmed. The pause practice. Before responding to a request, take 3 breaths. Just 3. This creates space between impulse and action, the place where choice lives. 3. Boundary scripts. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You need 6 sentences. To a friend, "I care about you, and I'm not available to talk tonight." To family, "I love you, and I'm not taking that on right now." At work, "I can't take that on this week. Let me know if we need to reprioritize." In romance, "I need some time to think. I'll reach out when I'm ready." To yourself, "I'm allowed to change my mind." Universal, "That doesn't work for me." Short, kind, firm, no apology unless you've actually caused harm. 4. Language swap. Swap guilt for truth. Instead of "I can't, I'm sorry," try "I'm not available this week." Instead of "I'm being selfish," try "I'm prioritizing my capacity." Instead of, I feel bad saying no, try, I'm respecting my limits. Instead of, I should be able to handle this, try, I'm learning what I need. The way you speak to yourself rewires the way you see yourself. 5. Inner child bridge. At some point, you'll need to speak directly to the younger version of you. The one who stood outside the door. The one who made herself small. Here's what she needs to hear. You didn't deserve that. You were trying to stay safe, and you did the best you knew how. It wasn't your job to hold everything together. You get to rest now. I'm here. You're not alone anymore. Say it out loud if you can. Write it down if you can't. Let her hear you. When the pattern starts to shift, life doesn't feel louder. It feels quieter. You stop scanning the room when you walk in. You stop rehearsing apologies for needs you haven't voiced yet. You start noticing what you want, not just what everyone else needs. Peace stops feeling like the absence of conflict and starts feeling like the presence of clarity. You begin to recognize the difference between intuition and anxiety. Intuition feels like knowing. Anxiety feels like bracing. One expands, the other contracts. Love stops feeling like performance and starts feeling like presence. You stop asking, am I doing enough? And start asking, am I here? The answer changes everything. You let someone see you cry, and the world doesn't end. You say no without a monologue, and the relationship survives. You ask for what you need, and someone shows up, not because you earned it, but because you're worth it. You start to feel your own feelings in real time instead of 3 days later in the shower. Anger isn't terrifying anymore. Sadness isn't something you have to hide. Joy stops feeling like a setup for disappointment. Rest becomes something you do, not something you earn. You take a nap on a Tuesday afternoon without guilt. You sit with a cup of tea and do nothing, and it doesn't feel like failure. It feels like coming home. You stop interpreting other people's moods as assignments. Someone's quiet, and you don't immediately assume you did something wrong. Someone's upset, and you don't rush in to fix it. You offer presence, not performance. You belong at your own pace. You stop forcing yourself into spaces that require you to shrink. You stop saying yes to invitations that drain you, just to prove you're not difficult. Boundaries stop feeling like walls and start feeling like doors. Ones you get to open and close based on what you need, not what others expect. You notice the quiet joys, the weight of your body in a chair, the taste of something warm, the way light moves across a room in the late afternoon. These small things stop being background noise. They become the texture of a life fully lived. And sometimes, just sometimes, you walk past a closed door and you don't stop. You don't listen. You don't try to fix what's behind it. You keep walking. Because you know now it was never your door to open. You're standing in a different hallway now. The light is softer. The door in front of you is your own. This time, you open it. Inside, there's no crisis. No one waiting to be saved. Just a room. Just quiet. Just you. And the girl who once stood outside her mother's door, the one who learned too early that love meant service, she's there too, sitting, breathing, finally allowed to just be. Peace isn't earned by shrinking, it's kept by being whole. What part of this felt like a door unlocking? If this resonated, I'd love to hear what landed. Not because you owe me your story, but because your words might be the permission someone else is waiting for. Take care of yourself. Not someday. Today.